During the Makas Choshech, Svarim tell us that it wasn't just a darkness, a physical darkness, or one that we couldn't see and the Yidden were able to see, but rather represented something so much larger, so much bigger. That there are times that people have a choshech throughout their entire lives. And in the same circumstance, in the same situation, there are those who perceive it as choshech, as darkness, with an inability even to move. And yet others are able to see the light. And they can move around, and they're freilach, they're besimcha, they're happy, in the exact same circumstance, in the exact same room. How is that possible? How can for some be it's so debilitating darkness, but yet for others it can be so light? The Svarim Medayek by the Mitzrayim, it says, Loiro ishes achiv. Each individual did not see their brother, they couldn't see each other, Loikamu ishmei tachtav, and they couldn't get up. And the Svarim say, why was it that they weren't able to get up? Why was it Loikamu ishmei tachtav? Because Loiro ishes achiv. Because each one wasn't there looking for each other. In the times before the Makas of Choshech, the Mitzrayim were selfish individuals, just there in it for themselves. Because each one was not sensitive to the other. Each one didn't look at the other one as a brother, not taking responsibility for their friend, for their relative. At a time such as this, like Kamu, Ishmi Tachtav, they couldn't get up. It was so debilitating. Because when someone's used to something, every living life just for themselves, and they go through a certain circumstance, it gets a little heavy at times. It becomes debilitating. It's a darkness that pervades and just sits on us, and we can't move. But yet for others who train themselves, I'm constantly looking out, constantly seeing what I could do for the other individual, what I could do for another person, how could I help this person's life and enhance this situation around us. It's always light. Even if they're going through a rough time, which should be dark, for them it's light, because they're working together, each one helping out each other. That's the dichotomy. And the same room between Choshech for the Mitzrayim and Or and light for the Yidden. So it's such a beautiful story that brings us out. You find often by our Gedolim, by our great people, they cared for the smallest of things. They cared for Baltashkas, for not throwing out even small pieces of paper. Every dime meant something to them. They cared for animals. They cared for other people. People perhaps that were not the greatest guests at your Shabbos table. Not the easiest to accommodate. But they cared for them. Because they had this sensitivity, this understanding working together. Reb Steinman was once found, Erev Pesach, the year after his wife was nefteres, after his wife died. He was hovering around a big barrel full of water. And one of his prime disciples, his students, walked in and he said, Rebbe, what are you doing? So he said there's a chumrah, there's a stringency, that because on Pesach, if you have water, and chametz is not bottled, chametz does not become nullified on Pesach, so I bring all the water in from before Pesach, and it's all sitting in the barrel, and this is the water I use from on Pesach. So he says, Rebbe, I never saw you do this before. So he pushed him and prodded until he finally got the reason. And he said, the truth is I always had this minhag. I always had this stringency. But one time my wife, by accident, turned on the regular faucet and didn't use the water from the barrel on Pesach. And she got so nervous, she's like, "Oy, there's chametz in the house, there's chametz in the house." So just to appease her and to mollify her and to show her that you shouldn't feel at all as if you did anything wrong, I said the barrel here is just for other reasons. Please, it's not a major, it's just the extra stringency, is nothing at all. And he stopped using the barrel of water all the years that he remained married with his wife. His wife was nefteres the year before. She died that year, so the next Pesach he was able to return to his minhag, to his custom that he always did. He gave up on something which he felt was so strong in his life and his family, minhagim, a strong custom that had its basis in halacha, because of his wife's feelings. It wasn't a chiddush to him. This is the way he was and the way he is for everything in life. When we understand that and we look at that, and we start being sensitive to others, looking for the good in others, trying to help out each other, we'll always be seeing the light. And we're going to be able to get up from our tzaras, from our issues. Kamu ish mitachta, we'll be able to move around because it's ro ish esacha, because we saw each other. Not like the Mitzrayim who couldn't get up because they didn't see each other. Let's make sure that that even at times of great darkness that could be sitting in us and causing us not to move, because we look for other people, we take responsibility for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's children, for Klal Yisrael, we'll always be having the light, and we'll always be b'simcha. Have a wonderful Shabbos.